Hey there, today we're going to be tackling variables and expressions. This is lesson 1-1 in your algebra book. That's also on page 5. Take a second to turn to that page so you can follow along as we make it through this lesson. Alright, we're talking about algebraic expressions today, which consist of sums and or products of numbers or variables. You'll see some algebraic expressions on the screen right here. You have 10 times d and 2x plus 4. Alright, d and x in these two expressions are also known as variables. And the reason why they're known as variables is because we don't know what number they stand for. They are a number, and eventually we'll get into solving to find out what that number is. But for right now, we don't know what number they are. The other term that we need to know is that word, term. In this sense, when we talk about the word term, we're talking about a number, a variable, a product, or the quotient of numbers. So in this problem here, we have 2x is a term, 4 is a term, and 10d is a term. Because 10d is being multiplied, so that we call that a term, and 2x is being multiplied to 4, or is being added to 4, so those two are terms. When two numbers are being multiplied together, we call them factors. Here, I have the same thing written 3 different ways. Here, I have x times y. Here, I have x times y with y in the parentheses. And here, I have x times y with x in the parentheses. All of it is the same thing. In these examples, x and y are called factors because they're being multiplied together. Okay? When we multiply x and y together, or real numbers, we'll get the product, which is the result of a multiplication problem. This expression here might look a little scary, but it's really not all that bad. We call this whole expression a power. Alright, and we have 2 parts of our power. Our first part of the power is this x right here. We call that x the base of the power. And then the other part is the n, and we call that our exponent. Our exponent tells us how many times our base is multiplied by itself. A quick example of this might look like this, where you have a base of 2 with an exponent of 2. Once again, this whole thing is called a power. Okay, all this is saying is 2 multiplied by itself 2 times. So we have 2 multiplied by itself 2 times, and we would say that this is equal to 4. For the problems in this section, you'll have to have at least a basic understanding of these few key phrases and what they indicate. So if you hear, for example, more than, or some, or plus, or increased by, that should send up a red flag in your brain that you're going to be using addition. If you hear or read less than, subtracted from, difference, then that should be an indication that we're doing subtraction. Product of, multiplied by, is of course multiplication, and quotient of or divided by is division. Okay, up here at the top of the screen we have an example of a problem that we'll have in this section. We have a 3, an x, and an exponent of 4. And the directions tell us that we need to write a verbal expression of this. To do that, all we need to do is just read what's going on. So we'll have 3, which is being multiplied to x, to the exponent of 4. So we could write 3 times x to the 4th power. I'll bring up another example here on the screen, right here. This one is a little bit different. For this one, we would say 16 times x to the 2nd power minus 3. Pretty simple, right? Alright, now that we've done those two, let's bring one in and see if you can do this one by yourself. Alright, take a minute, think in your head, what am I doing in this, and just put it into words. Pause the video if you need a little bit more time. If you got 5 times z squared plus 16, you would be correct. The second type of problem that we'll be doing is where they will be giving you the words and you have to write the expression. So our first example we have is a number t more than 6. If you need to refer back to the chart that we had a couple slides ago, I would do that, but it'd be really good and beneficial if you have that memorized. So what they give us, we say we have a number t, and I just do these by starting to write. A number t more than 6. Well, more than tells us that we're going to be adding, and it's more than 6. So we have t plus 6. Alright, let's look at the second one. It says 10 less than the product of 7 and f. So be careful here, because even though 10 less comes first, that has to be subtracted from the product of 7 and f. So let's look at the product first. The product means that we're going to multiply. And the two numbers, or the one number in the variable, being multiplied is 7 and f. And it's going to be 10 less than that. So minus 10. These two would be a good idea for you to try on your own. So pause the video, write it out on a piece of paper, then unpause it and see if you get the right answer. For the product of p and 6, you should have p times 6. And it doesn't matter if you read it like that, or like that, or like this, or if you put one of them in the parentheses. It's all the same thing. The product of p and 6 means p and 6 are being multiplied together. The other one is 1/3 of the area A. So we have 1/3, which is a fraction, of the area, which is multiplication, of A. And so our variable is A. If you got that one right, good job. That's about all that we need to cover for the homework in this section. Hope it's all good. If you need some more practice, go back, look at some examples, read through the instructions, and try some more out. Especially look at the odds, because if you can get through the odds, you can practice those and check the answers in the back of your book. Hope this video helped.